So, are you curious?
Welcome to the Curiosity Codex. I am your ardent enthusiast, Kyle Olson. Did you miss me? I missed you. As you probably surmised, we're on hiatus from our conversation with Mandy Fabian. We'd been talking so much, we actually caught up with their post-production. We couldn't talk about cutting a trailer, for instance, because she hadn't actually cut the trailer yet. But during our break, work has continued on Just Plus None, and I'm pleased to say we're back in conversation. It'll still be a few weeks before new episodes drop, but we're going to bring this plane in for a landing. But while we're waiting, friend of the show, Rob Kubasko, came to me with an idea. He'd been noticing how two different long-running sci-fi franchises with very passionate fans were handling making new stories while dealing with nostalgia, and he wanted to talk about it. Here's that conversation.
So here's a conversation we're going to have.
Okay.
We have just finished watching the entire Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yes. Potentially all of it.
Maybe that was it.
We'll
see.
We think
well,
at this point that was all.
It should be, but I'll talk about that later.
All 6 episodes.
6 episodes, and we are up to date on Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
Episodes 1 through 7.
Yes. At the time of recording, that is where we're at.
That is where we are. Just to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
And we decided we would have a conversation, and I said, well, I have an idea.
Okay.
This will be either titled Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Strange New Worlds,
okay.
or Nostalgic Fan Service versus Canon Busting Nostalgia.
Okay. Sure.
That's
okay.
deep, that's meaty,
Yeah.
a little complicated. Or it's 2022, and why is Star Trek so much better than Star Wars? And I'm not saying that's a declarative statement.
That's a question.
Is
We need
it,
to
though?
dig into. Yeah, or is it, though? That's
Okay, so here's the deal. So we're done with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, so we want to talk about Obi-Wan first?
Yes.
As that's fresh at the top of our mind.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Okay. All right, so we were at Star Wars Celebration when the first 2 episodes dropped.
That's true, yes.
And so we saw Hayden Christensen, we saw Ewan McGregor, and a bunch of the other cast members stuff too. So we couldn't have been more excited because everyone there was, and then it was great coming back the next day, knowing that everyone that we saw had been in their hotel rooms watching those episodes, because
correct.
oddly they didn't only screen them for a small select people who sort of won a chance to do it. So that was so there was a lot of enthusiasm just going on there. So looking back, I guess I have the same sort of complaints that I sort of have with the prequels and stuff too, where it's like, yeah, okay, and I mean, was it what I wanted? Yeah, that's the hard thing about Star Wars, is that how much of it is built on fan expectation. Like, we were there with Father Roderick,
right.
And so during one of his conversations, we were talking about it, and he asked me a question that had never been asked before, and he said, how much has Star Wars influenced you in your life? And I said, that is impossible for me to judge, because it's the first movie I remember seeing, and it has always been there. So it is a fundamental part of my life.
Your DNA.
Yeah,
It's in your DNA.
I don't remember there ever not being a Star Wars. Like, everybody talks about Star Wars changed everything. I'm like, yes, but for us, for our generation, for Gen X, it's always been there. So I have no sense of perspective. So that's part of what makes this weird, is that it's you have an emotional connection to it. So you're instantly like, if it's not quite what you wanted or what you expected and stuff too. So getting back to this, I'm acknowledging this to say I'm not without bias.
Oh, sure. No, exactly right.
So I came up with the Holy Trilogy, those ones, and then the prequels were sort of like the new thing that came out, and I was, when I was in my 20s or whatever, and it was sort of like, oh, not really exactly what and then obviously the sequel trilogy we showed to our children, so it's a different sort of thing. But so I don't have the same kind of connection to Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan that I would to, like, Harrison Ford as I was going to say Ben Solo. Timeline. Han Solo. I like that kind of thing. Like, he was that guy. So, but I love Ewan McGregor. I love, and I love the spirit they went into this. But at the same time, it's a really dark, depressing sort of story. And Also, I love Hayden Christensen. Why did you bring him back for just that? Like, did he shoot for one day? Because
there's
for all the hype they did about bringing him back, there was so little of him in it that I don't know. I guess it was like this felt like a Star Wars novel.
So I don't. Okay, what I am left with is. And I'm trying to, and I'm going to probably bring in a little bit of like some of our fan knowledge of the production difficulties that this show had.
Yes,
because it was originally a movie,
right?
Then it was made a series.
Yeah.
It got canceled. It was made a series.
Yep.
Now it's potentially.
We heard that they threw out everything. They had written the season,
right?
And then they went, "This is way too dark and depressing." They threw it all out and then started again.
And then the idea that they may have. Jettison some scenes from the final episode so that they could leave open things for a second season.
Yeah,
which
potentially at time of recording.
At time of recording, but I'm just going to say this: if you've seen it, I don't know what those things are.
Yeah,
because it's kind of a closed story as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest issues I have here with this, and I'm going to come a long way around to a statement I'm going to make.
Okay,
which is going to.
You want to do positives and negatives?
Well, let's do positives. We'll really be positive.
Leia.
Oh, the girl
putting Leia in there was such a brilliant move.
Yes.
I did not see it coming at all. And then as soon as they went to Alderaan and started, I was like, it was like that was she was the best part of the. I mean, Ewan was fantastic, and the limited amount of Hayden we got was great too. But like that actor, I don't even know what her actress name is, but like that portrayal of Leia was so wonderful. And
I agree.
Part of her life I had never really considered before. Like they kept showing us Luke. No, it's the other one.
And I would say Ian McGregor.
Yeah.
No, I mean here's the deal. And this is a teaser for what I'm going to say later.
Okay.
His performance of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Is maybe 10 times what Alec Guinness committed to film.
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, for real, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who's done the numbers, but like,
if you read Alec Guinness's biography, he does not have any really positive things to say about.
No, but I mean, like actual seconds on film as the character.
Yes.
Ian McGregor is this character.
Yes,
and Alec Guinness is the character, like at the end for a little bit, so there's that. And I have to say, he's very comfortable in it. I've accepted him as Obi-Wan, and I love it, and I enjoy that. I thought there were, and especially in, I'd say, the third episode, but more so in the sixth episode, there were these seminal moments that you, like, as a fan, and this is where I get into the whole fan service, nostalgic fan service. That you got. Look at, and again, we assume this is spoilers. You've seen it. We got battle damaged Vader in live action.
That was the thing I was most excited about, and that was my favorite moment of the entire 6 episodes was that.
I mean we got that. We got the other battle fight, and we got 2 of them. Which after seeing the second one we didn't need the first one, but that's another conversation I'll have. But like, we got the fight. We got to see the castle on Mustafar. We got to see
the Inquisitor's base.
The Inquisitor base. If you're a fan of the Fallen Order, right? Like you got to see that. You got to see Owen and Beru and sort of this young Luke and all of this. You got to see things. And I will say this from the 6th episode is there were these moments that you wanted to just pause the screen and go, that's a beautiful scene. It's just a beautiful moment. And this is where we're going to get into now the problems.
Okay.
In many times in that 6th episode, I'm having Rise of Skywalker vibes, which is, this is beautiful. It's an incredible action sequence in the whole scheme of the story of Star Wars.
And also things just happen. And there's no internal logic. Like I think that thing that drove me crazy was they had the whole thing about the siege. So like you've got Obi-Wan is in the base with the people and trying to get them out. It's a great concern for building tension. Bunch of stormtroopers on the outside. Reva, they're trying to get in. What are they going to do? And then they have the thing where they finally get in. Darth Vader goes in. Ship takes off. Darth Vader stops it in midair. Because somebody apparently had played a lot of Force Unleashed, because that's exactly what Starkiller does. Which we've never seen.
Nostalgic fan service, right?
100%. Like that was absolutely what that is. Stops it, and then immediately like haha, he brings it down and destroys it, and then the second ship just goes haha, and it lifts off and takes off. Like, oh, it was the other ship. Why? Okay. And then after he's like, oh, and internally, Anakin was going, Oh, man. Darn it, they got away again. Oh, that's when Reva attacks him. So many fundamental structural problems with that scene. Like, why, if you're going to attack Darth Vader, do it while he's distracted.
Yes.
Like, as he's standing there, holding on the ship, that's when you attack him. And also, if he could reach out his right hand and stop a ship in midair, and then he brought it back to the down, and it was on the ground, crashed. He wasn't doing anything, and the second ship takes off. He could just reach out his hand again and stop that ship too. So there was nothing to stop that from happening. That whole way and then he has then he just basically spanks Reva. I mean, like, you know, he just rope-a-dopes her. Like, it's like it doesn't even break a sweat under that, giant metal hood.
So
that's totally right. I think that scene basically is a fundamental thing of like the whole show of like, this wasn't well thought out.
Oh, wait. I'll give you a better one. Well, that's the first of all, that's the illusion of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Somehow he's back.
Yes, right. Somehow Palpatine returns.
But oh my God, look at all this cool stuff that just happened.
Yeah.
Right? So I have a real problem with that. But here's a couple of the other issues. As we've talked, and I think you've heard me say make fun of this. So when I was growing up in Star Wars, and even in the prequels, impaled by a lightsaber through the chest meant instant death.
Yes, fatal.
That is no longer the case.
Apparently not.
And not just for Sith, but also younglings and Inquisitors.
Yeah. Reva got stabbed through the chest twice.
Like, people.
Yeah.
Does anyone not have a problem with this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this.
And also, why is Vader letting them live?
Well, okay.
Twice he let her live. Why?
And okay. Here's okay. I mean, I'm going to jump all around.
Obi-Wan too, like dropping the thing on, like, haha, I dropped a bunch of rocks on him. Job done.
Wait,
what?
Oh no, hold on. Okay, wait. Let's start with the first problematic character, Reva.
Yeah,
horrible.
Oh, really? Okay.
Horrible. First of all, everyone who saw that first episode or two, I remember we were talking about it. Yeah, she's in the first shot, right? Like you knew that she was the youngling.
Sure.
She's angry because Anakin shows up, slaughters them.
Yeah.
And you find out, oh yeah, she also slaughters her.
Yeah. Kills,
but not dead.
Right.
Because apparently she survived.
Yeah.
Never explained.
Yeah.
Never explained why the younglings are in the frozen Cyberman tombs.
Yeah. Right.
And like not, which by the way, any of you who are like Dark Water fans, there it is, right?
Yeah.
So you don't explain why did she get pulled from the gutter?
Yeah.
Okay. You have all that. She's angry.
Yeah.
She's trying to get back at him. And but yet I don't want help from nobody because only I can do this.
Yeah.
Figures out that there might be an alliance between Obi-Wan and maybe I can figure this out. Tries to finally do it at the wrong time. Yep. Gets impaled again through the heart or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Somehow survives and goes, I know how I'll get back at him. I know how I'll get back at all of everybody. I found this mixed message about this kid who's living on Tatooine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get that kid and do something to him.
Yeah. And what was her plan?
And what was the plan of that?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. And also, in that recording, didn't Bale say he was going to be on Tatooine?
Now, I don't know about that. Well, now she gets fragments of the recording. She
got fragments. That's fine. But I thought because I was like waiting for Deus Ex Organa, as Luke is running and hiding. I'm like, oh, Bale's going to get him.
So wait, I don't understand.
My bad, beats being stupid though.
Well, Reva, fizzled out completely.
Yeah, it didn't work out like they expected. If it was supposed to be her journey.
Well, her journey stunk.
Yeah.
The end of her journey stunk.
Right. I guess part of the other thing is that you establish this whole thing of like they've wiped out the Jedi, but now there's the Inquisitors. Okay, if you didn't watch Star Wars Rebels,
right?
Who the hell are these people?
Oh yeah, how did they get trained? Who did they come from? And they've alluded to it.
Yeah.
But wait, and you're already begging. The real question is, what happened to them?
Right.
So why did they get?
Yeah. Where do they go?
They failed, obviously, right?
I guess.
Or we've been there already.
Yeah.
The Empire had a clone army, got rid of the clone army because of issues.
Yeah.
Is that the issue?
Right. Does it end with Vader just killing them all? Why does if there's the rule of two?
Yes.
Which is, by the way, is stupid. Why, George? Why does the Emperor let them exist?
So okay. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Reva started
We get
promising.
Inquisitors, but don't get Mara Jade. What the?
Oh no! See, and I'm going to tell you this, and I don't understand, and I don't understand that either.
Yeah.
The Reva character started interesting, and might I say strong.
Yep.
Really went sideways, and the end is I don't understand this. And to be honest with you, she should have died.
Yeah.
Because what is that character coming back again?
So, like,
and to do what?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're trying to spin her off like Book of Boba Fett, it ain't gonna happen.
No, stop. It's not. And I don't need another modded Fennec Shang. Like I don't need whatever she needs because she's obviously hurt. That doesn't make any sense. No. I do not understand that at all.
I would be interested in having a rise of the Inquisitors though. Tell me that story, like in some way, shape, or form. Like I know that they show up in Rebels, and that's the big seventh sister, and I know Sarah Geller and all that, and that's great. But like, I want to know like the formation of it. Like, why does Vader even let them get this far?
Well, okay, so now that's a good segue. Anakin.
Ah, yes, Anakin.
So this was moments of brutal Vadery goodness that you wanted.
Sure, that we've all imagined,
got a peek of it in Rogue One.
Yep, but never actually
totally understood.
Got to see.
Not to see it in live action.
Yeah.
We got to see the battle damaged Vader.
Yes.
Okay, a couple things I'm going to say.
Yeah.
One, this whole series, this 6 episodes, you could cut half of these, re-edit it into a movie, and it would be decent.
And someone probably will.
And I can tell you this, and you can cut the first lightsaber duel out.
Oh,
because it's meaningless. Because here's why. That Vader goes from being the guy who's elderly patient in the first 3 episodes of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him burn.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him escape because I'm going to make sure he burns.
Yeah.
And ends up being a guy that can't pull down a second ship and thinks that he won by throwing some rocks on him.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing is that.
What is that about?
I think that comes down to, and we've talked about this briefly, and so I won't go deep into, but that's my fundamental problem with the prequels is not what most people probably have. My problem is how they have established who Anakin Skywalker was and what he was like, and who Vader is and what Vader is like, and I don't see that they're the same person.
Oh, now I really. Well,
that has
you
always
get flashes.
been my problem with those.
You get flashes of how it connects, but it's so disjointed.
Yeah.
It's so sporadic that I really don't understand it. And I mean, really, that 6th episode, I'm as much as I love the fan service and I love the beauty, the story part of it sucks.
Yeah.
It does not connect the dots on any of this.
No, none of the things of like, where did, because the best part of the entire 6th thing was, in my opinion, is the end of that fight between the two, the battle damage Vader.
The dialogue.
The dialogue, exactly. Like that. In terms of Star Wars lines, one of the best lines in all of modern Star Wars is, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker,
yes, right?
I did. And it was like,
no,
that's it. That what a great insight into the character. Like that's just beautiful and perfect and horrifying and dark and like, oh my God, that's exactly what I liked. And then undercut by it, then he goes back to the dark fortress of evil on the planet where he got horribly mutilated. Sure, of course you build a summer home there. And then the Emperor gets on the Emperor. And they're like, oh, we can see Ian McDiarmid, yay! And he's like, I'm gonna find Kenobi. I'm gonna hunt him down. I'm gonna do this stuff. And then the Emperor just goes, but will you?
Oh,
and he's like,
God.
oh my God, you're right. Sorry, boss. Never mind. Kenobi's dead.
No.
What?
Yeah, no. Okay, wait a minute.
It was the weakest. Like, are you sure? Like,
okay, just because you brought him up?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I know I'm not crapping on the talent of people who make these programs and make these movies.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not trying to. Hey, I think it is a hard job.
Is there no one who can sufficiently replicate Ian McDiarmid's makeup from 1983? Because my God, what is the problem?
I don't know. I don't know why.
I'm serious.
He's turning into much more of a melted candle every time he shows up.
He never looks. There is not one moment you ever see him in Revenge of the Sith, in Empire Strikes Back, in the cutscene in 1983, or this, that you think that's the same character.
Yeah.
What is the problem with that?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that was a moment where I was like, oh my God, he came back. oh, wait, why? Looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Film it from the same angle as Empire Strikes Back and just duplicate that.
And did he need to be on Hollow?
No.
Like, you could, I mean, even if you could, if let's say Ian was still in England and they shot him, you could still put him in.
No, I got to tell you, that was disturbing.
Yeah.
And maybe not for the right reasons, right? Okay, but let me go back to Anakin. I'm still, and Hayden, I love Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. And we were so excited that like he was back.
I'm still excited. And that moment, you're right. And that speaks, make no mistake, that was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
To have and not only to relieve Obi-Wan of the guilt. No, I did this because this is the character I've been the whole time. It goes all the way back to that kid in episode 1. I totally get that.
Yep.
How does Obi-Wan make the same mistake of leaving him for dead in a ditch?
Yeah.
If he had just said, you know what, that's it, we're done now, you're dead.
Yeah.
Slice.
Yeah.
The rest of all the suffering doesn't happen.
Yeah.
How does that happen
Obi-Wan
again?
messes up again.
Again.
I mean, this is okay. So this is where I didn't expect that I was going to give praise to J.J. Abrams, but I'm about to.
Right?
Because he did this moment better in Force Awakens. Because he had a literal rift between the two characters. They couldn't fight each other. Here, there's no reason why that fight should have stopped. But in Force Awakens, he legitimately had let's crack the planet open. Now they can't fight anymore. So we have to like go to our separate corners and we'll meet again.
There's nothing stopping him from ending this finally.
Either of them.
Like seriously, like it should have been like a Monty Python moment. Like, I'm going to cut off your one good arm.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on my back.
Yes.
And we're going to take you to a place and I'm going to give you one final chance to change this or you're done.
He could have stood up on a rock and said, I have the high ground
Oh my
again.
God. Well, wait. Did you not think when he broke the ground and Obi-Wan sank
looking down
and he wasn't going to be like,
"Oh."
I have the high ground now, which I mean, like, okay, that was probably too much because we did get the hello there later on.
Hello
right?
there, yeah.
So, okay. I don't understand the Anakin. And it's not Hayden's fault.
No.
I just don't get what they were doing.
If they had done 6 episodes of Vader, and like you got to see from his perspective, like episode 3 ends, no, and then Vader episode 1 is like 5 minutes later. And then you got to see how he started a pogrom essentially to wipe out all the, to help this thing. And then you got this would be the counterpoint to that. But without that part, I still don't get it. Like, I still look at the swashbuckling Anakin from the start, this is where the fun begins. That guy, 3 days later, he is in black armor murdering children.
Yes.
What?
You're right.
What are you talking about? That doesn't make that. And then to take that to here, it's still, there's fundamental things that have changed that I don't understand.
No.
And it makes me angry because it's a waste of bringing Hayden back.
I don't. And again, take out half of the show and tighten it into just a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, you really could.
And it would, and it'd be a lot more Hayden.
Yeah.
The percentage of Hayden would go up and it would make a lot more sense.
We wouldn't get Kumal, but he's an Eternal, but and he got mentioned in Miss Marvel, so King is still out there.
Okay, so now let me. So here I'm going to come to the really crazy part.
Okay,
when you go back on a show that has its future already committed,
yes,
you have to decide very clearly how you're going to do certain things in the story you're going to tell. I love the girl who plays Princess Leia in this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's now things that make no sense.
Yeah.
And it's not like you guys didn't know what you were leading towards, right? You can't, if you're going to do a season 2 of the show, here's the deal.
You can't have Leia in
You do. Well, no, you do. You do the time jump.
Okay.
You go another 4 or 5 years. You get Millie Bobby Brown in. She's Princess Leia now, and you
as a surly teenager.
And you super Alec Guinness up Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
So that you make that transition. You make that transition, right? Yeah. And you have them wherever it leads them. They have to have the conversation where he has to look at her and say, "Hey, listen, I have great, I care for you like you're my own daughter. I have great, but you can never talk to me ever again. You can never call me Ben. You can never, you know what I mean? Like there's got to be a moment where it jives with everything that happens in A New Hope.
Because I was trying to remember when they were having their goodbye, and I was like trying in my head to play back what their message was, which is General Kenobi.
Yeah.
You served my father in the Clone War. And it's like, how about, hey, Ben, remember when you saved me from the slavers?
Yes.
Like, what?
Well, wait. And even go back to that. Like, hey, imagine you were 10 years old, and then 9 years later, you meet the old guy that saved you from the Sith Witch who was hunting you down in the desert, who then the day later comes back with the one freaking toy that you still have 9 years later. You don't think of that guy as just that old weird Ben wizard in the woods?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, guys, what are you doing?
But yeah, the other thing is there's a couple things they had to do, which I feel like they didn't do, and that's you had to establish why is he still on the planet when he knows everything is terrible out there and he could help. And they didn't. They actually made it worse because they showed all these people, look at all these people you helped, and the rebellion is starting, and these people are like refugees, and you're like, nope. Desert life for me.
No, seriously.
And you had to have that Vader thought that Obi-Wan was dead. And you didn't do that either. You're telling me in the next 10 years, he never once looked around to try and find him?
No.
And didn't look for, like, his own family? Like, where he grew up?
Here's another thing you got to deal with, because in A New Hope...
I know he doesn't like sand.
Well, that is true.
But...
It gets in it. It gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to have to deal with in season 2. They're going to have to resolve the whole idea of why does Vader think he's dead?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there has to be. And wait a minute. Don't tell me, and this is what I'm going to say, is there should not be a season 2. They wrapped it all up. It's fine. Leave it where it is, unless you're going to do something, and I'm getting ready to open up that box that you're not going to believe.
Yeah.
Because here's my point. It's you wrapped it up. Qui-Gon shows up. Everything. Yeah, it's fine.
I know, so you're waiting for that.
It's there. He did it. He looked great. I'm here all the time. I've been here all the time, which is kind of weird, but sure.
Which is the typical passive aggressive Force ghost nonsense.
Sure. It's fine.
Like, okay.
But I got to tell you, you guys have set up so much stuff. Like, where's that holster? What does she do with it?
Right.
You introduce something that you know doesn't exist in A New Hope. Yeah. So here it is. I think there's a plan. I don't know if there's a plan, but I'm going to tell you this. You know what I want them to do?
What?
Just go all in. Redo episodes 4, 5, and 6 with this cast.
4, 5, and 6?
Yes. You redo it all.
What?
You bring Ewan McGregor, just redo them. You go ahead and redo them. Bring in Aiden, the guy who played Solo, the kid who played Solo from Solo.
Aiden,
bring in Danny Glover. Bring in Ewan McGregor.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. I said
his 80s.
Danny. Who did I say? Danny Glover.
Danny Glover does.
Danny Glover is not
way too old for this shit.
I misspoke. Thank you. No, I'm not kidding. I'm going to tell you this. Because you guys have gone back with nostalgia, which this is going to pivot into our other conversation about another franchise. You guys have boxed yourselves into such a weird corner of a box.
Yeah.
You know what? No. Do what you've been wanting to do. Redo the whole Lucas thing. Just redo it. I'm not kidding. At this point, go ahead and bring in Hayden and do the flashbacks so that now you can do a richer A New Hope. And it'll all make sense. It won't look any more jarring now when you watch Rogue One, and it'll actually make sense. And deepfake Carrie Fisher onto Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown can do Leia for those 3 movies. Sure she could. And you'll get all the Stranger Things kids who are fans of that to watch it. And it'll bring Star Wars to a whole other new generation.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to accept your premise.
Yes,
as not being completely sacrilegious, and George.
Nothing sacrilegious. Nothing matters anymore.
George Lucas would.
He doesn't care. He doesn't own it. It's not his.
I know, but he would do a Roy Disney and like come after them if they tried to read it. But that being said, there is a way to do that, I think, and that's to make it a television series. Because they've already done it way back in the 80s, in the dark period, the post Return of the Jedi, when no Star Wars was happening. They went back on Minnesota Public Radio and they did a George Lucas approved expanded version of
there's
A New
books that
Hope.
have done that. Yes, that's true.
But basically, it's with Mark Hamill. I mean, they got people back, and they did, and they expanded the story. So you got to see Luke going to Tashi Station. I mean, like you got to see Leia on Alderaan with her father dealing with the Empire before she got on the Canto V4. Everything is expanded. Like, what was Han Solo doing right before he left? All that stuff.
Do it.
So to do that, now I'm interested.
Do it. Listen, here's the deal.
Expand it, like the whole, like it's like 12 episodes for each for each.
Absolutely.
New Hope.
And I'm not saying you change anything.
No,
you
just expand it.
You make it. You expand it. You make it richer.
Yeah.
And you bring it up to date.
Yeah.
And here's the deal: the original trilogy will always live in our hearts as the inspiration where this all began.
Sure. Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Right.
But you want to know what?
Yeah.
You guys have ruined it.
Well,
you've ruined it. I seriously.
This is the weird back and forth of the nostalgia thing, which I know this is the we have to talk about.
Yes.
To pivot off is that what they're seeing, what they're learning, are the wrong lessons. They keep going back to the same time because they're basically going for the Holy Trilogy. They're doing stuff out of there. Like everything is about those characters there, and they're telling stories that have predetermined endings, and they're not going with like okay, so Andor's coming. Okay, like we know that dude dies.
Yes.
Too. So like what story are you telling here?
No, I again, because I know it, but unless it's going towards something new.
Yeah.
And what's new is redo the original trilogy.
No, I mean, you can point to Andor and go, well, what about Better Call Saul? And you're like, okay, you know what? I get it. I mean, I don't think prequel stuff is inherently bad, but the way Star Wars is doing it, it's all just because they think this is what the only thing that fans will like. And the reception of Solo is what they use to that's the stick that they beat us with to go, we tried to do something and you guys didn't like it. So clearly the message is deep fake Luke. And I think that's the wrong lesson. Because tell me people wouldn't be just as excited at seeing Sebastian Stan in the
exactly.
Stop with the CG stuff. We are okay with stretching our imaginations.
Well, no, I mean, you've done it. I think that Aiden Eidenreich. How do I say?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And Donald Glover.
Yeah,
I think they did it.
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown could do it for Leia.
Yeah, and I think we'd be fine with it.
Absolutely.
Like, especially to give them a chance to do a performance as opposed to us watching it going, that's not a real person.
Redo the whole trilogy. I'm serious.
When they get to do the prequel trilogy again, call me because I have some ideas. I've rewritten episode 1 already. I have a full screenplay of what I wanted episode 1 to be because that's the kind of entitled fandom.
But no, I of course. Now, here's where we now pivot. Okay, so in the end, it was good. I don't need more.
No.
Everybody did
it. There are Star Wars stories I am interested in them telling and you've done this. Okay, great. You got them all back. It is what it was.
Sure.
And let it be done.
Now, here's a weird thing. This is where I find myself in 2022 at the time of recording.
Right.
There is another show that is basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's filling in blanks at an earlier part of a very well-known story in a very well-known franchise.
Yeah.
And I love it. And yes, it's Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, why they are busting canon.
Yes.
They are changing canon.
Absolutely.
They're doing this. Now, there's a theory as to why that is.
Okay.
The theory is that because I have a couple people and I have a couple friends on Facebook that I even saw say this because I said, oh my God, I love the show. And they were like, well, I hate the show because it has nothing in line of what the original series was. And I said, but do you understand? The original series doesn't exist anymore. That canon's gone. I actually have a theory
I wish you were right, but I don't
No. I got to tell you this. I'm really wondering, and I've seen other people talk about this, and I am so bought into this. Everything you've seen since Star Trek First Contact is the Cochrane timeline. It's not the original series timeline. It's not Star Trek's 1 through 6. No, it changed when they went back in time and helped Cochrane make the first warp speed flight. And everything you've seen, that's why Scott Bakula's Enterprise does not look like it leads into the original series Enterprise because it's actually different. I'm okay with that. And I got to tell you, if you go down the deep rabbit hole of theories on this and speculation, there is a speculation that is why they're bringing the cast back for third season of Picard. Because they are actually going to finally address that everything you've been watching for the last 20 years is not the original series timeline.
But they were? You're saying like that Next Generation was, and then everything after?
No, everything up till First Contact is the original series timeline.
Okay.
Next Generation.
So Voyager is not then, you're saying?
Yeah, correct. Whatever goes through.
So it went forward and backward?
No, there is a moment. Well, Enterprise.
I know this is not your theory.
Well, no. Wait.
So
Enterprise came out. Enterprise came out after. Did Enterprise come out during First Contact? When First Contact happened?
I think it was a little later.
Yeah, it's not.
It was UPN time.
It's different. It's a different universe. It's like the Kelvin universe.
Okay.
It's totally different, and that's why anybody. And my whole point in this, not to create that force fire, but to say is, yeah, I'm okay with this not lining up to 67 Trek.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I like this new show so much.
Yes.
That I wish that they would diverge more.
And here's my point.
But I don't know that they're allowed to. Well, and that's what kind of annoys me.
And here's where this is where I found myself as a fan that I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
Why am I okay with Strange New Worlds breaking all these conventions, and I can't get past someone not instantly dying when they get impaled with a lightsaber through the chest?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I think I have a theory about that because I've been thinking about this too. So there is now, obviously, we are in both camps. We are the Venn diagram. We are in the middle. So there are Star Wars fans, there are Star Trek fans. I don't think there's a lot of overlap, but at the time that we grew up, there was not a lot of sci-fi. So like if someone had a laser sword or had a fuzzy friend who was an alien, you watched that no matter what it was. We watched some terrible. We watched Masters of the Universe in theaters. Like that's what we had. I had to explain this to my daughter. I was like, I show these terrible movies. I'm like, this is it. Like for the year, this is what we got. You are so spoiled for choice.
You guys all don't remember that there was Galactica. Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. And we watched every episode.
And we watched every episode.
That's what we had.
And then it died pretty quickly. Because then Galactica 1980, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
We all talk about how much we love Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Yeah. We only love the first season of that show. Yeah. That's it.
I talk about Automan. You talk about Manimal.
Right?
You talk about Street Hawk. This is what we had, people.
And you guys don't realize how much love we've squeezed out of a very small amount of content, right? Because that's what we had.
That my mother used to say that anytime that I loved a show, she knew it wouldn't make it for the season finale. Like so many shows are like, oh man, Tales of the Gold Monkey canceled. What? That was the time they were just trying everything, and that's what we had. So, I think that the big difference is that by sort of what the Star Wars fans have said, because every time something changed, the reception to Last Jedi is a great example of this. Rian Johnson says, let the past die, kill it if you have to. And J.J. Abrams says, no, but I love the past. I want to do Return of the Jedi again. And everybody goes, oh. So there's this weird contradiction of what do you want? And apparently what people want is The Mandalorian, because it's like The Mandalorian, new character, but using the same, playing in the same sandbox, using the same toys, literally toys, like the trip carrier shows up and there's toys. It's you're playing the notes of nostalgia.
Yes.
Now, I have nothing against The Mandalorian. I think it's a great show. I think what they're doing, but the more they play those notes and it overshadows the original composition, the more that John Williams overrides the Ludwig.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The more concerned I get, because Book of Boba Fett shows what happens when you give the fans exactly what they want. It doesn't work.
Right.
So there's a weird thing with the Star Wars fans. Now, Star Trek fans, I think, in general, want the new. They are not as nostalgic for all the old stuff. They want something different because every time something new comes out, a new Star Trek comes out, it's different. The Enterprise is different from Voyager. It's different from Deep Space Nine. It's different from every time it comes out, it's still Star Trek, which is great. There's this consistency of intelligence and big ideas and characters who are not usually flawed and going about this thing. When people try to go back and play the play the hits, play the nostalgia, play that stuff. Fans of Star Trek hate it. Star Trek Into Darkness is the lowest reviewed film in Star Trek history because J.J. Abrams tried to play the nostalgia thing that he did later on in Star Wars Force Awakens. I know that comes later.
Sure.
He tried to play those same notes to Star Trek fans, and they said, hell no.
Well, and also he lied, blatant lied about it during the promotion of that. But
right. I mean, like, you get, regardless of whatever box office stuff, too, like, that is, if you go into any Star Trek fan thing, that is the lowest rated of all the Star Trek films. People like Star Trek 5 more than they like Into Darkness because he tried to play that nostalgia thing, and they're like, no, we don't want this.
Right.
This, like, you want, fine, you want to take Kirk and Spock and have them go on adventures? Great. You don't get to just do Star Trek 2 in your shitty way.
Yeah, right. Or like, reverse roll it or something.
Yeah, exactly. You don't just get to like remix that. That's not yours.
Right.
And so, there was the Universal just like, no.
And you know what? And great point about that. Align that with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Star Trek Into Darkness has some of the most spectacular visual effects of any Star Trek movie.
It's gorgeous. And
there are gorgeous moments in that movie.
And the core crew are on point.
Yes.
They have gotten past the initial stuff. They are like they are
totally great. Exactly. Great. That's exactly it.
But they're doing the same stuff over there. And I could get big into that about how much it breaks Star Trek canon and stuff.
Sure.
And messes. And there's even there. I think how it should have ended addressed a bunch of that about like how the changes about like, oh, this is now how transporters work, and this is how Khan's blood works. Fundamentally, would alter everything about Star Trek if you follow those lines out. But we don't have to.
But amusing, Strange New Worlds has changed how transporters work.
Yeah, and everybody's like, all right.
So
then Star Trek goes away. Star Trek comes back after the Kelvin. So the Kelvin timeline apparently is going on still.
Yeah, who knows?
Even though nobody went to see Beyond.
Well, I have a theory about that, but we'll talk. Yeah, we'll get there.
So it comes back, and now it's streaming. It's, I don't know what the golden age of basically it comes back and it's broodier, it's grittier. They swear now, and everybody goes, this really isn't Star Trek. Like, I don't know.
You're talking about Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery. So Star Trek Discovery, and the Discovery is, this isn't what people want from Star Trek. And so I have nothing against Brian Fuller. I think he's one of the best TV guys around. He did not get to do what he wanted to do, and then was fired halfway through the first season, and a new group was brought in, and then they did the second half of the Discovery's first season, and then they were fired, and then another group was brought in for the second season, and then they were fired. Like, it's like,
well, I didn't realize there was that much change.
Yeah,
really,
behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, like, basically the top guys still there, but the showrunners, over and over again, they're like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Until I would say probably midway through the second season, it started to get really good. And I'd say the third season, I'd say is probably one of the strongest. Because they finally went, now we know what the show is.
Right.
And what they discovered was it's Star Trek. It took them 2 seasons to go, oh, wait, what people want from Star Trek is smart, confident people working together well to solve gigantic problems, not angst, not brooding, not betrayal, all that stuff. Like
people who still have issues, but they're working through it. Yeah,
right,
they're
exactly.
figuring that
out. Because and how traumatic is it now in the last season of Star Trek Discovery? One of the fundamental things is, hey, we've all been traumatized, and we need to figure out how to deal with this.
Right.
Yeah, this is what Counselor Troy was telling us way back in Generation.
Oh, this is true. This is totally true.
And so by the time then you get to all these things to get to Strange New Worlds, it's a throwback in terms of tone because it's hopeful again.
Oh, absolutely.
And once again, it's a crew of brilliant people working together to solve all this stuff. Like, there is no tension between, the captain and number one. They might have disagreements and stuff too, but they are on the same team, same page. They are going forward. There's not you have to worry about, getting stabbed in the back. No, once again, I want to say, I love Star Trek Discovery. I've watched every episode.
Sure.
And it is my daughter's Star Trek.
Sure.
She absolutely, it's her number one show. I've shown her a bunch of other stuff. Nothing has really caught her the same way that Discovery has. So I'm not saying anything against it, but I'm saying they had a long time to figure out what that show was before they rediscovered what made Star Trek Star Trek. And I think Strange New Worlds benefits from that because they already know hit the ground running, because from the first episode, which was a little shaky, from there, they have just been flying.
Oh, no, I'm sold since day one of Strange New Worlds.
Did I make my point, or did I?
Oh, no, you did. No.
Okay.
And I'm going to add to it in that I think it's amazing that Paramount, but even Disney has done the same thing, has invested the money and the time to get there.
Yeah, because Star Trek was never Star Wars.
Right.
And never designed to be.
And you know that, like, again, I think it's shocking how good these first 7 episodes of Strange New Worlds have been. But I got to say, as much as I love my continuity, this is the best designed Starship Enterprise ever.
Yeah.
It's the best designed bridge. Yeah. It's the best designed sets.
Yeah.
It's the best designed uniforms.
Yeah. The only thing I have is the using the volume to do the engine room. I was like, I see what they're doing, but I'm like, it shouldn't be this big because when you think of it in terms of like Scotty crawling through the Jeffries tubes and do it, I'm like, how the hell is he supposed to get to like one of those pieces? But the fact that the fact that they use the Jeffrey tubes in the I mean, I'm actually very impressed with that. Listen, I can't say enough about the characters. Yeah,
Anson Mount is crushing it.
Yeah.
Jess Bush, that Nurse Chapel is phenomenal.
Yeah, she is one of the best new characters that Star Trek has.
I mean, and such complexity that is coming that they really have started to scratch the surface of. Yeah. The helmsman. Well, I mean, what's her name? I forget.
I can't remember it either.
Okay,
I'm still
learning.
We get to. I feel like if we get to a certain point, I have a hard time retaining new character names in any show.
Well, no, but I got to tell you, the reason is because I think I told you this. I'm so into the show. Playmates, where are the figures?
Oh yeah,
because I'm ready for the action figures. I'm ready for that Enterprise. I'm ready for all that. I love everything about this show. I love the music. I love all of it. The fact that they're going, and no spoilers here because we talked about this. We're dealing with episodes 1 through 7.
Yep.
The fact that they have teased the Gorn and didn't show you them yet.
That episode, I think, maybe my top 10 of all time.
Yes.
That episode, it was a bottle episode, which I was like, they were doing this already? A bottle episode? Really? Are you having some money problems? But it was a submarine thriller. It was tension. I loved everything about it. It showed the crew at their best, doing all these different things to try and get, and amazing captaincy. Like, yes, I love Pike, but like in that one, he's just had a whole nother level. I love that episode so much.
My only negative was
watch it again to see if it
in the 7th episode.
The second time,
the ship got taken over a little bit too easily.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what though? But there was that Angel, that Captain Angel. Yeah. She's a character we're obviously going to get to again.
My only problem with her was she was so good as the counselor, having a conversation with Spock. When she flipped to supervillain, way camped it up, and I was okay,
they got crazy.
Like, it was like, oh, you were doing so good at the nuance thing, but when you got to be like, oh, now I get to be like a villain. All right. Like, bring it back down. Like, we're still Star Trek here. We don't go that big. You're not Ricardo Montalban. Bring it down.
But I got to tell you though, bold in that it's funny that's the episode.
Yeah.
That in the last 3 seconds of the episode, you learn that we are going to meet Sybok.
Yeah.
And that her character is related to Sybok.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what type of balls does it take for a show in its first season to go, we're going to take one of the most maligned characters in the history of the cinematic Star Trek universe.
Yep.
And we're going to bring them front and center, people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. That is ballsy. And I think part of it, I was actually thinking about this, specifically that moment, is because there are so few recurring villains in Star Trek because they usually just resolve them.
Sure.
Because like that, you don't get to, like, the species, what is it, species 8472, established in Voyager as being the ultimate, they can kill Borg so easily. And like 3 episodes later, they're like running simulations of Boothby on Star Trek, thinking like, oh no, we're just misunderstood. It's like, oh, okay. Like, but you could have kept them around a little. Every time that there's any type of big threat, they tend to just like go, oh, we just need to talk to them and resolve it. And so you have Sybok, you have Khan, and there aren't really a whole, and there's Harry Mudd, of course. Yeah, but there's not really a whole lot of other big names out there. So the fact they brought it in, I think, is fantastic. I cannot wait to see where that goes. I hope he actually shows up this season and they didn't just like tease that he's out there.
Now, of course. Here's then this leads into my I can't believe I'm going to bring this to the same space I left the Star Wars conversation. I love this so much. And I'm okay with the whole, this is a different timeline, everybody.
Yeah. I get it.
I got to be honest with you.
I want more of that.
I think they can do a few seasons of this. I think they can change Pike's destiny.
I hope so.
Well, wait, because here's my point.
Yeah.
Guess what I think they can do?
What?
I think they can do the original series over. They're bringing in Kirk. If they did 4 or 5 seasons of this, do the 5-year mission.
Yeah.
Pike maybe gets something can change because I don't think this is the same universe.
Sure.
If they took the 3 seasons of the original series and redid those episodes with this Enterprise, this
with
set,
this Spock,
with this
Uhura,
let me tell you something, and upped the script, upped the tension, the storytelling.
Yes.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm all in for that.
I would love that. I would love that.
Wait.
Because that's the thing is I've never shown those Star Trek to my daughter, even though they're...
Because you can't.
Because you can't.
Because you can't show that Gorn. You can't show Kirk fighting the Gorn with a paper mache
or
boulder.
Spock's brain. Any of the...
You can't show that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Do you realize what we're saying?
What are we saying?
We're saying that they can remake the original Star Trek series.
Yeah.
And I said earlier, they can remake the original Star Wars trilogy. What has happened to us?
Multiverse, baby. Multiverse. I mean, like, at this point, I think that we have a different relationship with remakes and stuff now because the other ones don't go away. And the emotions you had with them don't go away. We saw Battlestar Galactica when we were kids, and because it was riding that Star Wars coattails, and we liked it. But at the same time, new Battlestar comes out in 2003 or whatever it is, and it's fantastic, and we love it. And that's it. And if they did Battlestar again, I'd watch it again. And
they may. And here's the thing. What did I say? What was the one of the lines here? Nostalgic fan service versus canon busting nostalgia.
Yeah.
Canon busting nostalgia wins.
Yeah, I agree. Like at this point, I love a continuing universe. I love the Marvel universe. I love all the calls and nods and callbacks and that kind of stuff. But if they brought in a multiverse Captain America, okay,
sure,
great,
sure.
New guy in the suit, fine.
Yeah.
We got over the new roadie, They've made the switch before in terms
Tom
of
Cruise is on a high right now. Tom Cruise can come in. He can be he can be Iron Man.
I really think that there is that thing. I think but I don't know if Star Wars is allowed to do that.
Seriously, I will say I just cannot believe how much I love Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you this before we started recording. In the last several years now of the maturity of our fandom streaming experience.
Yeah.
There are 3 shows that I have woken up on the days that they come out, every episode, eagerly anticipating the next episode. And I'm going to be very honest. They are WandaVision, Loki, and Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
I'm actually not kidding. That's it.
Yeah.
I got up excited for today for the last episode of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because we knew.
I didn't do that for the middle 4 episodes.
Yeah, I would say for most of those ones, it was the first. I say that's where I had my breakfast. That's what I was watching. Because I wanted it first thing. But mostly it was because I didn't want to be spoiled.
Sure.
I mean, like Strange New Worlds. Nobody's really. People aren't talking about it as much as I think they should.
It's unbelievable to me.
So good.
And do you know what's sad is the people that I've said this to, where I said, like it'll come up in conversation, and I'll say, "Oh, you should watch Strange New Worlds."
Yeah.
Do you know how many people give me the grimace? And because you know why? Because here's what they go. Star Trek.
Yeah.
That shows you how trash the brand has been after all this time.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because, my God, it was only 2009 when we had the Kelvin movie, which was excellent.
Yeah.
And right.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because I really think you're going to love it. Like, by the time you get to that 2nd and 3rd episode, this is a series you care about the characters.
Yes.
You love what is going on.
Yeah. It's that rare show, and I would actually say similar to Firefly, because Firefly did this of establishing the strong personalities of the characters, where when you have a situation, put any 2 characters together, I'm on board. I'm invested.
Yeah.
I'm not just waiting for Spock to show up again.
Right.
Like any of the things. And I would say Discovery now is that at that point too.
100%.
Yeah. Like I love that crew so much.
Put the doctor, that doctor, phenomenal.
Yeah.
The helmswoman.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any 2 of them on any.
Put Chapel with any of the characters and I'm in.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And even having Pike, just how he deals with it. Yeah. Any combination, and that's really, really hard to do.
Yes.
Any of the shows that start out with an ensemble, like you sort of go, Freaking
Can I tell you this?
again.
Here, I'll close with this, with my comments on this.
Okay.
I think most people probably, you know, if you were a fan of fandom in the 90s and stuff, it was all about the intro titles, right? Which,
yes.
by the way, a lot of like Obi-Wan, nothing.
Yeah,
I know. It's some chords and sand,
exactly.
right?
It's like 1/4 of the actual song that John Williams wrote.
And let me just say this. I think most people, surprisingly, might maybe disagree. Voyager had the best Star Trek intro titles.
Yeah, my ride or die is Deep Space Nine, but Voyager had it.
Voyager was amazing.
The song was amazing.
The song, the ship.
I think the Prodigy opening thing.
Well, no, Prodigy is great.
Probably the best thing about that. But I think that's riffing off of Voyager.
But I honestly think Strange New Worlds is the best. There are shots of the ship.
That note. Yeah, that we've never seen before.
We've never seen.
In 50 years of Star Trek,
amazing.
We've never seen.
And I'm just, okay, this turned into a love fest for Strange New Worlds. I mean, fine. Bottom line is, figure it out, everybody.
But it also, I know you're wrapping up, but
sure.
I think the quality of Strange New Worlds is different in that it's the rising tide that raises all boats, as opposed to Kenobi. Yes. Like basically, it's making Star Trek better. Is Kenobi making Star Wars better?
Ooh,
not really. I mean, it's sort of you just.
Oh wow! Wait a minute. See, now that's my point.
Yeah,
it's not making. Okay, first of all, here's the problem.
Yeah,
what is it doing? It's making me love Ian McGregor more as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, it's giving them, certainly Hayden, props for the garbage he took for episodes 2 and 3.
Yes.
So okay, that's done that.
Yeah.
Does it make me enjoy A New Hope more? No, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
No. But I can tell you, Strange New World has made me look back at the Star Trek that they're trying to emulate, the original Star Trek, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, they actually had, because they're playing they're using the same instruments, even though they're playing a different song.
They can redo the entire original series.
I would be fine with that. I would be, if they announce a new Kirk, I'm excited.
And do you know what you call that show?
What? A New Bones? Oh my God.
Oh my.
Right?
Okay, what do you call that show? Come on.
Do you have something already?
To Boldly Go.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's what that show is called.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like,
oh man. Even if they officially establish it's not Dad's Kirk. Like that those existed, they're fine, they're over there, but this is those voyages.
The Cochrane. I'm calling it the Cochrane timeline.
Yeah.
It is, and it is all thanks to those knuckleheads from the 23rd century that had to go back and fix the Borg problem. Yes, it makes sense. And then you bring them all together for the fourth movie, for the fourth Kelvin timeline, and then they straighten it all out.
I don't put that on that movie.
No, I won't do that.
Let that be.
Well, how's George Kirk coming back? How is he coming back with his hammer? Come on.
I mean, you think that's going to be a thing? I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
I know. It's like that's of all the things that can have time travel. Like you cannot have time travel in Star Wars. It breaks it because it's
but don't they?
It's fantasy.
Didn't they though?
Well, they had sort of like a weird, nexus-y, interdimensional, wiggly part.
Okay,
but you can't actually travel in time in Star Wars because that would end it.
My nerd head can't take it. Yeah, that's it. I can just take it where I'm glad what we got with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
God, watch Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
And then let's see what's next.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice way to end this.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And that's where we're going to stop the conversation for today. Thanks so much for listening. This has been the next chapter in the Curiosity Codex, but there are still many pages left to decipher. We're part of the True Story FM family of podcasts. Find out more about us at truestory.fm. Our theme music is Intrusion by Severed Personality, aka Kevin MacLeod. The voice of the Codex is Vicky Hall. Find her on the web at vickyhall.squarespace.com. And my name is Kyle Olson.
The Codex is closed for now.